Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be the mid-year check-in for my makeup inventory. And I'm actually really excited to film this. I have been waiting to be able to film this, so here we are, and we are going to go through my makeup collection by numbers. So I filmed my first ever proper makeup inventory video in January, and that was like a really long video. I was talking about how much I have, what is my goal, and also I was talking about how much of where my collection is and my categories. Today we are not going to talk about the worth of my makeup collection. That is so much job to do, so I have decided to do it only once a year. So what we are going to do today is that we are going to take a look to how many products I have in each category, if the products have gone down, because down is the only way I really want my categories to go. With some categories I am at the amount that I feel comfortable with and I feel I'm not overwhelmed, but I do have certain problem categories that I have just too much of product and I want to have less, and I want to get there by project planning in the first place, but also by decluttering if something is just not working for me or if something is expired. But we are going to talk about that today, and also I do have some updated goals. I did set 2 goals in my January's update. The ultimate goal, but also for some categories I had to set a more realistic goal for 2020 and where I want to get in a year with my collection. So let's get to this inventory, and I'm sorry I will be looking a lot down because I do have my computer here in front of me, so I will be reading the information from here. So in January I had 4 primers in my collection, and currently I do have only 1 primer. I'm really excited about this one. I did set in January a goal of having 2 primers in my collection, so 1 pore filling and 1 more dewy or hydrating. However, I decided to change my goal to be only 1 because I honestly don't think I need more than 1 primer that is pore filling and smoothing. In January I had 6 foundations in my collection, and I do have currently 6 different full-size foundations. I do have for one of those 6 1 backup, so the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. I do have the exact same product, and then I do have 1 foundation sampler too. In January I did set a goal of having 5 foundations, so 1 natural and 1 full coverage foundation, and from both of those I wanted to have my winter shade and my summer shade, and then I wanted to have a lightning mixer, so that is 5 foundations. And I did change my goal a little bit. From now on, my goal is to have 3 different foundations in my collection. Full coverage foundation, natural foundation, and also a powder foundation for those days that I am just so busy that I don't have time to use a liquid foundation. So those 3 foundations are what I want to have in my collection, but it is okay for me if I do have multiple shades. So in January I kind of thought that it's enough if I have my winter shade and my summer shade, but the fact is that I am kind of like in between of those shades for a quite long time, especially during fall. I think it takes a while for the tan to wear off. I do have some old summer foundations and I am not that tanned for the most part of the year, so it's only maybe 3 months that I really can use those foundations. So I'm really trying to work on those summer shades right now, and then I have set a goal of 4 different foundations for 2020. In January I had 6 concealers in my collection, and I do have right now 6 concealers in my collection. But one of those 6 I do have in 2 colors. So the Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer, from that I do have a winter shade and a summer shade. And in January I did set a goal of having 4, so natural concealer in my winter shade and summer shade, and then more lightweight concealer in my winter shade and summer shade. And that is still my goal, but I decided to make this a little bit simple and just set goal of having 2 different concealers, and multiple shades are okay. Then let's move on to powder. So I did have in January 5 powders in my collection, and I do have currently 5 powders in my collection. So the number is the same, but actually I have finished up at least a couple of powders. I have purchased one, and also I have counted one product that was previously in a face palette and wasn't included in any categories. Now I have included it here, but it is in my 10 by fall project pan, so my goal is to finish it. It's something I use to set my eyeshadow primer. My goal is to have 4 powders, so one more matte setting powder, one illuminating setting powder, under eye setting powder, and a touch up powder. In January I had 6 setting sprays, and right now I do have 4 setting sprays, so I'm really glad that this category has gone down. In January I did set a goal of 4 setting sprays, but I changed it to 3. So my goal is to have a mattifying setting spray, a UV setting spray, and then a spray that I can use to touch up or to wet my eyeshadows. I think this Catrice spray, actually I do like their anti-shine version better. It's not really anti-shine, but it is in the similar bottle. But I think this is something that can easily be taken with me because it's such a small bottle. But also I think this is a great setting spray to wet your eyeshadows with, because I don't want to wet my eyeshadows with anything expensive, for example all-nighter. Then let's move on to cheek products. In January I had 6 individual bronzers or contouring products, plus 2 in eyeshadow palettes, so 8 in total. And currently I do have 7 individuals plus 1 in palette. I actually have finished up one bronzer, so the Physicians Formula Butter bronzer, but a subscriber Nella actually gifted me a bronzer, which I am really grateful of. So the amount is the same. Also, I did have in 2 palettes bronzers, but one of those palettes I depotted and kept the bronzer. In January I did set a goal of having 5 bronzers in my collection. So a lighter matte bronzer, a deeper matte bronzer, a lighter shimmery bronzer, a deeper shimmery bronzer, a cream contour product. And I actually did change this goal. So my new goal is to have the cream contour, 1 matte powder contour, and then a lighter, little bit shimmery or satin finish bronzer and a deeper one. And the reason I wanted to change my goal is that I do prefer bronzers that are a little bit more glowy, and I only need 1 matte product that I can contour with if I like to, and that is for me the Balm Bahama Mama. That's like the perfect undertone for me. Bronzer is definitely a category where I cannot get to my goal by 2020, so in January I did set a goal of having 6 bronzers by 2020. I have finished 1 and I'm probably going to finish 1 more. However, my new goal is 7 because I got 1 new bronzer from Nella, so even if I do finish the bronzer I'm working on right now, so the contour shade from the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Duo, I still won't get to 6. There's just no way that I'm going to finish 2 more bronzers for the rest of this year. So my new goal is 7 by January. Okay, then let's talk about blush. And in January I had 27 blushes in total. 13 of those were singles, and then I did have 3 blush palettes. Currently I do have 20 blushes. I'm really excited about this. In April I filmed a blush declutter video where I was able to let go of some blushes that I just didn't use. And then I recently quit my Panda face palette. I depotted the palette and decluttered 1 blush from that. In January I did set a goal of having 10 blushes in total in my collection, but for 2020 I did set a goal of 20 blushes. I decided to actually change my ultimate goal. I decided to change it to 20. I know that 20 blushes is like a lot of blushes for one person, and 20 blushes is something that I will never be able to go through them. But the reason I wanted to set this goal to 20 is that I'm really pleased with my current blush collection. Most of my blushes I do really love, and I don't feel overwhelmed by my blush collection anymore. I don't want to declutter more of my blushes. So I'm happy with how it is right now, but I do not want to grow with either. So I feel from now on, if I'm going to add something, then something is going to leave. And then highlighter. This is really exciting because this has gone down a lot. So in January I did have 7 single highlighters and 5 highlighter palettes. 5 highlighter palettes, like that's ridiculous. And then I know I had a lot of highlighters in different eyeshadow palettes. So I did have in total 42 highlighters, and now I only do have 24 highlighters in total in my collection. I also filmed a highlighter declutter in April, and I did declutter a bunch of highlighters. I decluttered at least 1 palette that came with 6 highlighters. I have depotted some palettes that have highlighters in them. My goal for highlighter is 10, and in January I did set a goal for 2020 to have 30 highlighters, and I wanted to change the goal to 22 highlighters because I am already under 30, so of course I wanted to set a new goal here. I should be able to finish my The Balm Mary Luminizer that is in my project pan, and also my Revolution liquid highlighter in liquid champagne is in a project pan, and I want to finish it. So if I can finish those 2 highlighters, I will get to this new goal. There is one thing though that I have been thinking about. Sorry, I'm taking 1 palette from here, and I want to ask your opinion. So what I am counting to my highlighter collection is all of the highlighter pans. There are 2 highlighters in this palette, so this lighter bronzy one and this deeper bronzy one. No matter how tan I am, these are not highlighters for my skin tone, they are just too deep for me. I can use them as eyeshadows, but I don't want to count them to be eyeshadows because they are really not eyeshadows. So I don't know what should I do with them. I do have these 2, and then I do have 1 in a BH Cosmetics highlighter palette that is also too deep for me. I kind of don't want to have them here in my actual highlighter number because I cannot use them. But then again, they are highlighters in my collection, so I don't know. Let me know what you think. So maybe I will change it in the January's inventory video. Then let's move on to eye stuff. So first, brow products. In January I had 7 brow products and I only have 3 left in my collection, so I have project panned a lot of these and I'm really happy about that. My goal is to have 4. So a precise brow pencil, a natural brow pencil, a gel and a powder. Currently I do have 1 2-in-1 product, so the Pixie Natural Brow Duo. There is the natural pencil in another side, and in another side there is a gel. So I'm using that gel up before purchasing an actual brow gel. Then eye primers. In January I had 4 eye primers and currently I do have 3. I think I decluttered 1. I'm pretty sure I decluttered the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Black Pea because I never used it. And I finished 1, so the Urban Decay Eden Eyeshadow Primer Potion. But I have bought 1, so I have bought a glitter primer from e.l.f. I did set a goal of 2 primers in January. So my goal was to have a regular eyeshadow primer and then a white or a skin toned base. But I added to this goal a glitter primer, so my actual goal is now to have 3 and I am there with my collection, so I'm really happy about that. Then eyeshadows. This is really exciting. It's one of my favorite categories in my makeup collection, and yeah, it's always so nice to hear everybody's numbers. So in January I did have in my collection 29 pre-made eyeshadow palettes and 1 C palette. Currently I do have 23 pre-made eyeshadow palettes and 1 C palette. So this has gone down a lot. I did finish my Pandat palette and then I have decluttered quite many palettes. Or actually I don't think I decluttered that many, but I depotted so many. And because of that, because I have depotted, my singles have gone up. So in January I did have 39 singles in my collection, including pressed pans and also loose singles, and currently I do have 53 singles. And what comes to pans in total in my collection, in January I had 346 and right now I do have 311. I did set a goal of having just overall 10 eyeshadow palettes, but it will take so long for me to get there. Then I did set a goal of having maybe loose pigments, and I actually don't want to have loose pigments anymore. I don't want to declutter mine, but they are something I want to pan at some point. And what comes to goals for 2020, in January I did set a goal of having under 25 eyeshadow palettes, including my C palette. And currently, including the C palette, I do have 24. So actually, I did lower my goal a little bit. My new goal is to have 20 eyeshadow palettes by January. I do have my Baby Panda palette project going on. I'm pretty sure I can finish that palette this year. And then to get to this goal, I should declutter 3 palettes from my collection. So I'm doing the Shop My Shadows series. I think if you have been here on my channel, you know it, but it's something where I'm rotating through my collection and picking different eyeshadows each month so that I will rotate through everything this year. So I should still declutter 3 or depot, but I'm actually pretty sure that I will declutter 3. When I think about it, I know for sure 3 palettes I want gone from my collection. So I'm pretty sure I will get to this 20. And what comes to actual number of eyeshadows, I'm pretty sure my total will be under 300. 10 eyeliners. In January I had 7 and I do have currently 6, and for my liquid eyeliner I do have 1 unopened backup. That is not counted to this 6. But this is also a category where I'm really specific about what I want to have. So my goal is to have 7 different eyeliners. A black liquid eyeliner, a gold glitter eyeliner, a black pencil eyeliner, a brown pencil eyeliner, a white waterline pencil, a nude waterline pencil, and a black waterline pencil. I do have all of this right now except white waterline pencil I don't have. I actually had one, but I finished it. But I do have the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk that I have counted to be an eye primer because that is what I most use it for. But that also works in waterline, so that is why I'm not buying right now a white waterline pencil. 10 mascara is always the most boring category here in my inventories and in my collection in general, because in January I only had 1. I do have only 1 right now. My goal is to have only 1. So yeah, and it's always the same one from Catrice, their all around ultra black mascara. That's just good and affordable, so I'm happy with that. 10 false eyelashes. My goal is always to have 3 false lashes at once that I'm using, because I can fit them to this House of Lashes lash case. So as you can see, there are 2 lashes here and I'm wearing one of those, and that is my goal. I don't want to have a lot of kind of like backup lashes. Currently I don't have any backups except for Ardell Demi Wispies because I do buy them in multi-packs. 10 lash adhesive. My goal is always to have 2 open the House of Lashes lash glue in clear and in black, and that is what I have right now. I do have also 1 backup for the clear, and I accidentally bought an individual lash glue, so I do have that unopened in my collection, but it's not something that is on a use right now. But if I ever will use individual lashes, I do still want to keep it, but I don't want to open it because I'm not using them right now. Then let's move on to my favorite category of makeup, so lips. Lip care products. I did have 4 in January. I do have currently 5. So in January I set a goal of 4. So 1 lip exfoliator, 1 lip balm that is really thick and moisturizing that I can use during nighttime, for example. Then 1 tinted lip balm and 10 lip makeup remover. I took the tinted lip balm out of my goals. I really don't need something like that. And I added here SPF lip balm. So that is what I have bought, but I do still have in a project pan a tinted lip balm. So that is why I do have 5 right now, but my goal is to have 4. Then let's talk about lip liners. I had 15 in my collection in January and I do have currently 14, so I must have decluttered 1 because I don't think I have finished any lip liners this year. This is a category where I don't have goals, and the reason to that is that if I need a lip liner to wear a lipstick, it's okay for me. but at the same time I don't want to have lip liners that are like unnecessary for my lipstick collection. Then let's talk about lipsticks, which is like my favorite makeup product. In January I had 40 lipsticks. Right now I do have 34 lipsticks. I actually have used up a couple of these lipsticks, so I started in March my Rolling Lippies project pan where I'm trying to finish lip products. So I have used up one Colourpop and one Essence lipstick. But I have also decluttered few lipsticks in the beginning of the year that just weren't my thing and I wasn't enjoying. Especially since I have now realized that I do have so much lip products that some of it is going to expire anyways, so I rather want to pan something that I enjoy. My overall goal for lipsticks is to have 20. I think that is something that I'm not overwhelmed, but I do have a nice variety and really everything I need. It's not realistic to get there in 1 year, so I did set a goal of 35 lipsticks by 2020, but because I am already under 35, I did set a new goal of 32. So if I finish 2 more lipsticks this year, I will get here. So hopefully I can, because I know that there is not a single lipstick in my collection that I want to declutter, so hopefully I could finish up a couple. Then the last makeup product here is lip gloss. So in January I had 15 and now I do have 10. I actually haven't finished any of these. Unfortunately, I have decluttered. At least one was expired and 10 I decluttered some that I just didn't like. My overall lip gloss goal is to have 5 in my collection, but for January next year I did set a goal of 10. But because I do have right now 10, I decided to lower my goal a little bit and my new goal is to have 8. Okay, so that was all of the makeup, so I do have a couple of extra categories here, so let's go through them really quickly. In January I did have 33 nail polishes and I do have right now 27 nail polishes. I don't think I have decluttered any nail polishes. I have actually panned all of these. My goal for nail polish is to have 15, so it's quite a long way there still. I have set a goal of 25 nail polishes by 2020. I'm sure I can get there, but I didn't set a new goal because right now I do have in my project nail polishes that are pretty full, so I don't really know how many nail polishes is realistic for me to finish still during this year. But then perfume is the last category here. So in January I had 6 perfumes and I do have currently 6 perfumes. Actually, since I filmed the makeup inventory in January, I have decluttered 1 perfume and purchased 1 perfume. Perfume was a product that I allowed myself to buy 2 this year. One I bought in the very beginning of January, so it was already included to this January's makeup inventory. But another one I bought in April and I decluttered 1 perfume that just really wasn't my thing. I have set here a goal of 8 perfumes in total. I don't really know why. I think perfume is something where there are not that many cruelty-free and vegan perfumes available anyway, so I don't really see a perfume purchasing being a problem for me. So I don't think it's really necessary for me to set a goal, but I still want to follow where my number is. And after my Nova year, I think I want to purchase a couple of more perfumes. Not like right away, but you know, during 2020. If I just can find ones that really speak to me. Okay, so that was the mid-year check-in for my makeup inventory. I'm really glad I got to film this finally. I'm so excited to see so many categories to go down. So I will film a new makeup inventory video in next January, and in that video I'm also going to talk about the value of my makeup collection. That's also something that I find it interesting, but it's enough for me to do it once a year. And hopefully I will get to my new goals with some of these categories by January. We'll see. Thank you so much for watching this video and see you in my next one. Bye bye.